Welcome to Mystical and Practical, the podcast that demystifies the soul's journey, the spirit world, and spiritual practices. I'm Meli Guidance, a past life psychic, certified Akashic Records reader, and channeling coach. Here, we talk about spirit guides, the Akashic Records, reincarnation, and everything that connects the seen to the unseen, all with both feet firmly on the ground. Ready to decode the spirit world and connect with your inner magic? Let's jump right in. Hello, welcome to this new episode. Welcome to my universe. Make yourself comfortable. Go grab yourself a cup of tea, cup of coffee. I've got my usual mint tea here, and I'm ready to talk to you about a subject that fascinates a lot of people. And this subject is called soul ages or soul levels. So maybe you've been wondering, how old is my soul and how many times you've reincarnated? Well, I'm here to guide you through this. So please be very attentive as I go through all the soul ages here. So, as I said, maybe you wondered how many times you reincarnated and why you see the world a certain way and why you might not always feel like you belong. So, personally, I work with the 10 soul levels framework created by the renowned psychic Ainslie MacLeod. And it's a structure that I actually knew even before becoming a professional psychic. And my spirit guides agreed to use it when I started doing Akashic readings. And today I offer Akashic soul plan readings to take a look at your soul plan, but also your soul age. And thinking back, I've actually had the pleasure of receiving 4 readings with Ainsley himself, and I did explore all of this with him and his guides before doing this professionally. So, what exactly is a soul level or a soul age, if you prefer? So, according to Ainslie MacLeod Spirit Guides, every soul goes through a progression of 10 stages over multiple lifetimes on Earth. And you have early levels for young souls. These are levels 1 to 5. And this is where it's more focused around fear, survival, building an identity. And then you have the later levels where we're getting wiser, we're more centered on love, compassion, unity. So these are levels 6 to 10, the old soul levels. And so, in other words, the more lives your soul has lived, the more comfortable it becomes with uncertainty, and the more it acts from love rather than fear. And you will see, I'm going to explain the all the 10 levels, but you will see that in every level we reincarnate many times. So there are 10 soul levels. We go through 1 to 10, and in each level we reincarnate many times. And when we feel that we learned the lesson of a level, it is time to pass on to the next level. But we only know this once our last incarnation in that level is over. Meaning, for example, let's say there's a really young soul, it's a level 1 soul, and they are at 90% or 95% into level 1. So when we start a level, obviously we started at 0% when we haven't incarnated on Earth yet. And then we start reincarnating, and the more we come on Earth, the more incarnations we have, the more we, go down. Oh, we're now at 50% in the level, 60, 70. So when we're at 90, 95%, we incarnate on Earth, and we actually hope that everything goes well so that we can move on to the next level. But we can never be sure, even though our soul has the best intentions. Once when we're incarnated, sometimes things don't go to plan, and we forget who we are. We might get a bit detached from our soul, our missions. And if something really major happens, like rape or murder or kidnapping, well, we're not going to move on to the next level, of course. So once an incarnation is over, we go back to the astral plane and we meet with our spirit guide. We do our life review, and this is when we discuss eventually how we feel about our exploration of that level and if we feel ready to move on to the next level. It's always our decision, but when we are younger souls, we look more towards our spirit guides to guide us through this. When we're older souls, it's much more like the guide is literally guiding us, but we feel more confident in taking the decisions without looking at our guide and asking, like, is it okay? So let's start with the first five levels, which are known as the young soul years. Here, the main lesson is learning how to be part of the human collective. And these souls explore life with a lot of fear, rigidity, and a need for concrete experiences. Level one is all about isolation, simplicity, and naivete. Level two brings in fundamentalism, nationalism, and discrimination. At level three, everything revolves around religious community and conformity. Level four dives into religion, morality, and the aspiration to quote unquote do good. And level five focuses on ambition, materialism, and the pursuit of power. Now, many modern societies are still dominated by these younger soul levels. For example, in the United States, as a nation, has the collective energy of a level 5 soul. Now, not every citizen, of course. I'm speaking the country as a whole. In levels 1 through 5, the souls arrive on Earth like a newcomer who doesn't know the rules yet. So there's a kind of nervousness and a need to be told what to do. And people look for truth outside of themselves in institutions, dogmas, or leaders. And that's why young souls are often deeply religious or choose to live in small, closed communities where they feel safer. So you see, when I was saying I'm speaking about, each country has a soul level, I wasn't saying everyone in the United States is a level 5 soul. That's the country as a whole, because I know there are a lot of people from the US listening to this, and I know you guys are old souls. By the way, if you're wondering, I'm Canadian. Canada is at level 8. Crossing my fingers that it won't go below level 8 during my lifetime, because we're in tricky times right now in the world in generally. But yeah, this is where we are right now. And now I'm going to jump into the old soul levels. I want to remind you to be very attentive to what I'm going to say and be attentive to how it makes you feel. And I'm going to explain why later. Okay, so let's start with level 6. We enter the category of old souls and everything shifts. The focus moves from fear to love, self awareness, and spiritual connection. At level 6, there is a quest for unity, for social justice, and higher ideals, but also there's a lot of drama and self questioning. Now, moving on to level 7, it brings curiosity, creativity, intensity, and a fascination with life's complexity. Level 8 is all about refinement, ecology, activism, and openness. Level 9 is marked by spirituality, healing, emotional healing, as well as, um, you know, psychological healing, all the inner healing and inner transformation, the so called self development that we are seeking. And finally, at level 10, we aim to embody altruism, wisdom, and sometimes there's a touch of eccentricity as well. But above all, there's a deep connection to the all, the everything. At these stages, truth is no longer sought outside, but within. That's what spirituality truly is, realizing that we are all equal, that no one is better or worse, and that the essence of life is to live from love to and compassion. And now you might be wondering what happens after level 10. Once the soul has completed this cycle, it considers itself to have fully explored the human experience. It has learned the great lessons of love, unity, and compassion. So it's not about being perfect, it's about feeling that you had a good grasp of the human experience. And at that point, the soul no longer feels the need to reincarnate on Earth, and it becomes a full time spirit guide supporting other souls on their journey. But here's an important reminder. As I said, it's not about perfection. No one is better or less evolved. Every level has a purpose. We've all gone through younger stages, and those who are still there are exactly where they're meant to be. We cannot bypass a level. We need to go through all of them. And sometimes, as old souls, this helps us understand younger people. It's just they haven't had the experience, the time on earth to fully understand what's going on right now, what they're doing to other people or what they're doing to the planet. So sometimes it helps us not to give them a permission slip to do bad things, but just to understand that they are coming from a different place than where we are right now. Another common question that I get is how many times does a soul reincarnate? On average, a soul can return between 10 and 15 times per level, sometimes more. So if you're an old soul, and if you are listening to this, you probably are, you might have lived 100 lifetimes or more. And that explains a very particular feeling or notion, and that is reincarnation fatigue. It's that sense of weariness old souls often feel a what's the point when facing life's challenges. It's normal. These souls, and maybe you're one of them, have experienced so much that they sometimes long for the peace on the other side of the veil. Among old souls, there are two main ways of living this path. Either you're a pessimistic old soul who feels discouraged, like they've seen it all and you have a lack of motivation to keep going, or you're the optimistic old soul who focuses instead on beauty, compassion, and the wisdom gained, and who keeps showing up for life anyway. Both polarities are completely natural, and most of us swing between them. So, whether you recognize yourself as a young or an old soul, the key is to notice where you are right now and what your soul came here to learn in this lifetime. If you are wondering how to find out your soul age, here's a little tip. While I was describing the different levels, maybe there was a moment when you felt a spark inside of you, like a little ding, a wave of excitement, or an inner yes. That's often your soul signaling, that is where I am. And if you didn't feel that, take a moment to reflect which part resonated the most, because your body and your energy usually know before your mind does. It's also worth clarifying something. Many people who are actually at level 9 think that they are at level 6 because doubt is very present at level 6. And sometimes the ego tries to convince you that you are not advanced. But honestly, if you're listening to this podcast and sincerely drawn to spirituality, that's already a strong sign that you're an old soul. So, for context, in case you're wondering, I am personally about 40% into level 10. My soul is very focused on finding meaning. And yes, I have that little eccentric streak where I like to do things my own way. At the 40% mark in this level, I also have a deep thirst for knowledge and discovery. So there you go. If this topic speaks to you and you want to go deeper, I offer Soul Plan Akashic readings where I channel the choices your soul made before incarnating. And I always start by channeling your soul age. And then I explain how that level influences your current life path. And it's a powerful experience that helps you understand why you're here and where your soul is trying to lead you. And what is exciting, now I'm saying this, I'm not getting this in every soul plan reading, but sometimes I am connecting to a soul and their spirit guide, and they are showing me what's the plan in the future. What's the plan? Maybe you're at the end of level 9 and you already have a plan in head for your level 10. And where how you want to get to level 10. And maybe it's you being needing to speak up more, because in level 10 you know you want to be a leader, and maybe you want to be a leader and help the planet, like a bit like a Greta Thunberg, and you want to lead people, lead manifestations, and you need to heal your throat chakra. You need to heal past life trauma of self-expression. So sometimes I can get a glimpse of, I know where you are as a soul age in your soul plan, but I can get a glimpse of why you decided everything in your soul plan in regards of where you want to be in the next level. So you'll find the link in the episode description if you would like to book your own Soul Plan Akashic reading. And you can also download my free channeling cheat sheet to start asking your own spirit guide questions and verify, if it's real channeling or just your imagination. And this is it. Thank you for being here with me today. I hope this episode helps you understand your soul journey a little bit better and maybe even recognize yourself in some of these stages, these levels. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with someone who it might resonate with, or leave me a note to tell me what you thought of it. So I'll see you very soon for the next episode. Until then, take care of yourself and remember, your soul always knows where it's going. All right, take care. See you soon. Bye bye. Thank you for listening to the Mystical and Practical podcast with Meli Guidance. If this episode spoke to you, please subscribe to the channel and leave some stars, a thumbs up, or a comment. It truly helps to share the podcast with other old souls seeking a deeper understanding of the spirit world. If you're interested in getting an Akashic Records reading, a tarot reading, or joining one of my online courses, you will find all the details at meliguidance.com. This podcast was edited by plcm.ca and the original music was composed by record.bandcamp.com. Until next time, remember, we are all souls having a human experience, and we can all be mystical and practical.